In this video, I'm going to discuss something that's of interest to everyone at whatever age. Remember this device? These were the simpler times. I had this kind of a transistor radio. I remember one of the first purchases from my first salary was a transistor radio. It was a Philips transistor radio costing princely sum of some 200 rupees, which I purchased. And I felt absolutely great about it. What it had was a few channels that I could go across and listen to. That's all that was there. And then came in the television, and with the television, the advent of the color television, and with that, the commercialization, so many channels, and so much of advertising and mass marketing that was happening. And from that world, when my father joined one company and he retired from that organization, my uncle joined one company and he retired from that organization, we have come to a world of AI agents. It's a big jump. So we started first was the iPhone, which came in, this device that was there. This was the first thing that came in, and that revolutionized the internet. The falling of the price of the bandwidth that you could access on the internet, and then the smartphone which Steve Jobs launched. It changed the world forever, and now we are at the cusp of another kind of a revolution that we are seeing in tech, and that's talking about AI, which started about 2 years back with Chat GPT, and now almost everyone is familiar with a Chat GPT. I can write, I can do it, just helps me to increase productivity. I'm sure a lot of us are using this. What is the impact of all this? And now what's happening is, since last few months, we were hearing about agents, and then we have this Chinese firm which has just come in, the DeepSeek, and it's just shaken up the entire market. The speed at which things are happening on the front of AI, and with the whole talk of AI agents, that year 2025 is going to be the year of AI agents. And here we live in a world, when I'm doing this channel, the second act, of people who are being retired, who were anyway, even before all this was happening, were getting retired by the time they were 50. It was very difficult to find jobs. That's what the recruiters always told me. It's very difficult to find jobs after 50. Now, with all these changes that are happening, and the people that I speak to now, I'm hearing that it is difficult to find jobs even after 40 in many of the places. And then we have this talk by the leaders of 70 hours of work, and somebody saying 90 hours of work per week is what we need to put in. And why the hell do we need to stare at our wife sitting on a Sunday? There are better things to do that get back to your job. Many people that I meet are being called back. The COVID was a time when people started working from home. They realized the time that they could have for themselves and their families. But now every organization wants their employees back in the office. And now with all that, we are hearing this AI agents. So what does it mean for you and for me and for many people who are out there who are wondering? We are going to be living much longer, because the tech also means that our healthcare systems are going to be ensuring that we live longer, not necessarily the quality of life, but we are going to live longer, and we are going to retire, or we're being forced into retirement at a younger age. So with all these changes that are happening, how do we prepare ourselves for this? So let me tell you something from my side. The first thing that I can tell you very much for sure is that the changes which are happening, yes, they are going to create impact. We can be like ostrich in the sand and say, no, this is just happening. It's a slow, some process that's going on, and nothing is going to change in the world. We are already seeing that there are the CEOs of companies who are saying that they're replacing a lot of their call center employees with what is the agents that we talk about. Agents is something that's now picking up the repetitive work, things which are repetitive in nature. They're even getting into spaces like coding. So many things are happening, and so many jobs we're slowly and slowly seeing being, getting out there. So, what is my take on how do you prepare for this new world? While this new world is happening, unfortunately, our education system is still etched in the very old world. We still follow those very systems. While children are going to go and do their homework on a chat GPT, which even some of the teachers are not aware. I mean, why the hell do I need to go through tons of assignments if I can just pick up just put up my document on the chat GPT or something like that, and AI, and get it to analyze and do it all the stuff and all the homework that is needed. So things are changing. So the repetitive tasks. So what is happening along with this is a big thing that I'm telling you. It is the death of the average. So if you are average at anything, if you're an average employee, if you're an average student, if you're average, if you are part of the crowd, you are suddenly going to find yourself under big threat, because the average is no longer going to be needed. At one point, I'm talking about the changes that are coming in are going to, it's the death of the average. We don't need average coders. We don't need average creative people, because all that stuff which is average is very quickly being grabbed by AI, because repetitive tasks, simple tasks, the kind of stuff that can be just done, it's just been taken over by the AI, and the agents are coming in to take over the entire thing. So it's very simple, is it not? That if I have to look at all the law books which are there and arrive at something, why do I need a lawyer who will go through so many books? I can actually use an AI to do that kind of a work, which can very quickly turn around things, because the speed at which it works will be far greater. Its accuracy will be far greater than a human element. So what is it that you can do to survive in this changing times? And this is what I feel, this is something that I'm experiencing, is that people who have context, and can leverage AI to the advantage on their context. So one thing is clear, you cannot deny this change that's happening. You cannot ignore it any longer. You need to get onto it. You need to constantly learn about it. You need to look at what's happening in this industry. And the other thing is the context. This is the interesting part that I want to share. This is where the experience will come into play. So your experience or the business context that you have, if whichever industry that you're working in, whatever service that you're providing in, whichever product areas that you're working on, there is a business context. There's a marketing business context that you have. You having that context and then leveraging the skills of AI, leveraging the right tools to deliver the outputs which are coming out. These two things are going to work in combination. I see that it is going to be a combination of a human who is able to derive the context of the business issues, the business challenges, the business problems. He can understand that element, and then is also able to leverage these tools. So you cannot just be I know these tools, but I don't have business context. So the combination of a business context and the ability to leverage these tools is what is going to make you more employable, if I have to use the right word, in the future. So the other thing that you have to be ready for is that working in one organization, this whole idea of that I am going to be stable in one organization is no longer going to exist. So looking for that safe jobs, I've kept on repeating in all my videos, this is going to be lesser and lesser. This is going to be tougher and tougher. So you need to be somebody who's pretty flexible and is willing to work on his own. So the skills and the attitude that you will need to build is an entrepreneurial mindset, a salesperson's mindset, a marketing mindset, a storyteller's mindset. You need to have those kind of soft skills. Because if you are there out on your own, if you have a business idea, if you have an idea, now taking that idea to an execution is not difficult. But if you don't have these elements of an entrepreneurial mindset, if you don't have this ability to, to bring in that storytelling, building a brand out of the whole thing that you're creating, you're going to find it difficult to survive in the market of the future. These are the skills that we need to embed in our children. The idea of curiosity, because ideas is something which comes out of curiosity. Curiosity to learn something new. Always keep on updating, not being stuck on what is there. If this is the time of agents, tomorrow it will be the time of robotics. We don't know what's happening. It's the speed at which it is happening and it is unfolding. It is exciting, it's also frightening. But I think that it is time for us to look at, so I think, so people who are at 50 and above, 40 and above, the biggest advantage is your experience. Now, can you marry that experience and that context that you have of the business with learning all the AI tools? So I would say, if I was an investor looking at things which are what are the bets that I'm going to take, yes, the interesting thing is with this whole Chinese company which is coming in, DeepSeek, which has come in and suddenly shaken up the market. The prices seems to be, we have to wait and see how it unfolds. The point is, I am going to, if I was an investor, I would look at this area. If I was somebody who's looking at a career, I would try to see in my business space, this is what's going to happen, so what I'm going to do. And third is obviously, and very interesting and simple idea, which I'm going to throw up to everyone. Take it if it makes sense to you. I would say, start learning to live a frugal life. Why? Because it takes away a lot of the stresses which are coming in. And the markets are going to be up and down. The economies are going to go up and down. How the politicians, the worldwide, we just don't know how Trump is going to change the US. We all know the kind of decisions which are happening. We know the wars that are going on in the world. So there is a lot of uncertainty out there, whether it is a political uncertainty or... So we need to learn to be that kind of person who is able to survive with the minimal stuff. I'm not saying that you need to become somebody who's not enjoying his life. I love my gadgets. I spend on gadgets, but on my car, last 12 years, I don't invest in a new car just because it takes me from point A to point B. And I'm not here to make a statement to somebody, and that's why I invest in a car. I don't do that. It's not an investment, first of all. It's a depreciating asset. So be very clear about how you're spending your money. And, that's going to be very important for you going ahead in the future. These are the skills and how you're investing whatever you're earning to make the best of it. I'm not the greatest guy on this. I'm sure there are many, financial advisors you can follow there. But I would say these are the skills that you need to give your children. So what am I saying? That there's a death of the average. The time has come of death of the average. You cannot be the crowd. If you are the crowd, you will just find it difficult to survive. You will be very quickly replaced by something cheaper somewhere out there. It is a time for, as I see it, for people who can stand out, people who understand the context and who are able to marry the AI along with the context. What are your thoughts on this video that I have shared with you? There are going to be a lot of developments and I'll keep on sharing on the second act. I want you to subscribe to this channel so that whatever I'm sharing, it comes to you and you're able to use it. So thank you so much. Till the next video.